what is GTM engineering? I wanted to find out how companies actually understand this job position. So I scraped 739 different job offers related to it. What skills do these people actually have? What tools do they use? How much do they earn? And where are these jobs even popping up? Let's go through the data. Hey, I'm Matt, CEO of Vanderbilt, GTM engineering agency that helps companies in outbound lead generation and CRM data automation, basically engineering GTM systems that turn data into sales opportunities. So let's start with a short statement. The sales and marketing market has changed more in the last 3 years than in the previous 20. And I have a data for it. So let's take 2018 and 2026. The data availability in B2B, for example, related to the contacts, it basically changed 11 times. So we started with 50 million different contacts and we ended up with 550 in 2026. And it confirms basically ZoomInfo. In terms of the number of available tools, we also have around 2.5 more tools than we had before. So it jumped from 7,040 into the 15,384 in 2025. In terms of what you get for the same money, you can basically get around, I would say, 20 times more. Because if you look at the context, for the $50, you could get around 500 contacts, and usually there was a success rate of acquiring, let's say, email, because sometimes the email was correct and sometimes it wasn't. So later on, as we are progressing into the 2026, the effectiveness of acquiring this email is around 90%. So 90% of correct data that you can get, and even more data endpoints that you can access for the same money. And in terms of the cost of acquiring a B2B email, not to mention the actual success rate of this acquisition, it's 8 times lower than it was before. So instead of 10 cents per email, now you pay around 1.5 cent, and that's it. And I call it the data paradox, because at the same time, you are getting more data, you are getting more variable data, and the cost of this data decreases. So in order, it should be easier, but it isn't. The difficulty of correlating this data between each other increases significantly. And I would say the market is also getting saturated. But still, I want to give you a comparison of what is currently happening. And let's analyze it based on these 4 criteria. So the first part will be the strategy, the second, availability, the third part will be the entry barrier, and then the market effect. Like the first one that we'll analyze would be the mass outreach strategy, the outreach 1.0, sales based on target groups. The second part will be the signal-based outreach, outreach 2.0, the new trend that is coming up in the market. The availability of the first one is lots of data, easily available, cheap. So the entry barrier will be low because everyone can access the data, everyone can activate it. And the market effect will be the high saturation, everyone does the same, and the conversion rates that you can expect from this email funnel, from this mass outbound, is around 1 to 1.5%. In comparison, for the signal-based, we get selected data, which is difficult to access, difficult to gather. It's expensive to access because it's another data layer on top of what you usually should get. Then the entry barrier increases, so it's high, and the market effect is different because you get lower saturation, fewer people doing the same thing, you get higher precision, and you can expect way higher conversions, but also on the lower volume. So how it also changed in terms of the company structure, tool stacks, and the teams. I would say from the 2019, we only got the SDRs, and in the middle season, I would say between 2019 and 2026, we would get another layer of SDRs, which was called pre-sales. And then in 2026, we are decreasing the headcount, aiming towards the one GTM engineer that can craft certain processes and automate the stuff, and actual closer A players that can basically handle the stuff, handle the inquiries from the marketing activities and from the cold outbound, I would say. The tools also changed. In 2019, it was the era of ZoomInfo, Hunter, Salesloft. Then we got the tools such as Clay, Instantly. It was the data orchestration, workflows, automations era. And then we got a, I would say, current era where we are aiming towards the agentification of the processes, different tools, different solutions, different layers of data on top of what is currently being developed. So what also changed is the monthly tool cost from $380 per person in company to $1,670 right now. And number of tools within your tool stack also changed from 6 to 11 on average. So there is this new trend called GTM engineering, and that's where the GTM engineers come into. And why? So the actual creator of the GTM engineering funnel and title is Clay. So Clay basically in 2024 came up with a name for a GTM engineer, and here is the proof from Varun, who is a co-founder of Clay. And they basically came up with it because the market needed it. They needed a person that could connect three different layers of competencies. So marketing, sales, and IT, technology. And this is what GTM engineer actually is. I would say it is a person who can connect the data, analyze it, and activate it automatically at scale, understanding the business context. And I am actually a part of this trend because I took part in a tournament organized by Clay itself, and I got to #1 in Europe, and then into the vice champion in San Francisco, in California, during the GTM Engineering Global Tournament. Between all of the GTM engineers in the world. And why is there such a need now for GTM engineers and for the person that actually understands the context of the business and the technological aspect of what is currently happening in the world, especially in the sales and marketing departments? So the first part is the AI and agent tools that can connect data between the systems efficiently. The second part is there is a shortage of people who can combine sales and marketing with technology. And the third part would be the founders are looking for a way to grow without expanding their team. And you can see that. So basically, there are teams more flexible that are operating way quicker in the market, that are developing the solutions, that can deliver the value faster, that can iterate on a higher speeds, that can launch the products in basically weeks instead of months, validating sales thesis, validating product market fit way faster, and pivoting from one scenario to another, polishing their sales pitch. And what is the most important principle of the B2B market still, and this does not change? So the most important principle is that 90 to 95% of the buyers in the market, they are not ready to buy. And the another part of these buyers which is 5 to 10% are ready to buy. And what comes out of it? So I would say you are only selling if you are educating the market properly. And that's why the GTM engineers are quite important in this, because whenever you have access to such large amounts of data from your internal tools, from your sales processes, from your marketing activities, the more touch points that you can generate, the more education that you can pump into the market that you are the right solution for the problem, the more actionable insights your prospects can get about the solution of the problem that you are proposing, and the more they are able to correlate you with the keyword that you are stating, comparing yourself to. So for example, if I would like you to leave with anything out of this video, would be that you are correlating me, Mateusz Sekta, with the keyword GTM engineering. And then whenever you are thinking about the GTM engineering, that would be me. That is coming to your mind as a potential solution to the problem that you might have with the GTM engineers and GTM engineering within your companies. And that's what this educational aspect is about. And that's what GTM engineers act on as a data insights in order to educate the market further. So awareness and education. So how can you do that? You can do that via market observation, you can do that through CRM data activation, and you can do that through network activation. So these are usually the three scenarios that the GTM engineers cover and the data that they can use in order to activate this market. So since you know what the GTM engineer and GTM engineering is all about right now, at least I feel like that you know. If you don't, then you can leave some comments under the video and I can explain it to you in more plain, clean words later on. But since I think you have some insights in what GTM engineering is all about and how it is being influenced by the current trends, then let's go through this GTM engineering job marketplace review. So how it looks like in terms of the data. We scraped 739 different job offers. 584 of them have actually descriptions. 63 out of them have disclosed salaries. 60% out of all of these job offers have Clay as required tool. And I would say it's not only because obviously the Clay can be part of the tool stack, but it's more of that the data orchestration layer on top of the CRM data systems is so important for these companies that it is also a requirement for the job position to have some data orchestration knowledge, data automation knowledge. That's why Clay is so high. Obviously, they are also a creator of this job position, so that's also the case. 86% of all of these jobs also have AI and LLM skills required. And it's a part where I also mentioned that there is this AI agentification happening within the companies, and I feel like that the GTM engineers will play a huge part in it. Also, the 160K median in US dollars, that's a median within the US market. So I feel like this is worth going for. And in terms of tools, like these GTM engineers obviously rely on the tool, but please look at what is also at the top. So we see the two CRMs and we see data activators, which is Outreach and Zapier, in like a part of the N8N, which is also a second part of the workflow automations instead of the obviously AI. We are not counting it as a tool. We are counting it as a competency, as a technology, not as a tool. In terms of the tools, we have HubSpot and Salesforce at the first place because this data orchestration needs to be happening based on a certain layers of the data, internal data within an organization. Then we have also 33% job offers required the Claude, which is more than ChatGPT, which is 22%. 86% are AI native by default, and 66% is based on the APIs, which does not require that much of a technical knowledge to go for. And 68% out of this is for the builders. It's for the people that like to jump to the data, that like to scrape the data sources that are not usually available and own the outcome. So the GTM engineers are not only the technical people that are deploying some automations, you are also taking part in actually creating the sales opportunities, because GTM engineering means it's go-to-market engineering. In terms of the automations, 84% mention the automate workflows, 65% enrich the data, 61% power the outbound at scale, because outbound takes a huge part of the automations. If you want to activate the data with something, it should be with outbound. There are currently some automations happening, for example, with the LinkedIn ads, where you can push some target groups in order to spend your money more efficiently. But still, that's a huge part of it. And 67% is for the companies and people that would like to have dashboards ready to show the effectiveness of these processes. So it's also about the data preparation for dashboards creation. As I mentioned, the median is around 160K, but what it pays on average is from 130 up to 180K. Obviously, from the market to market, it makes a difference. But from what I've seen, the more of these job positions are being established in the United States market. They see that this data orchestration part is playing a huge part, and from my experience, the European companies are a little bit behind that, but still they are catching up. So per month at the median, it's 13.3, but average of the total comp midpoint is 153, which means the median is well above that. Obviously the United States are leading the stakes, 43%. Behind that, we have India with 8%, Germany 7%, United Kingdom 6%, which means that basically the world is catching up to the Western countries. And I would like to show you basically what we did in order to acquire this data. So we are jumping straight into the LinkedIn, where we have all of these job offers available. We scraped this data basically 2 days ago on, I think, 10th of July. And we use basically the keyword GTM engineer for all of the jobs all over the world. And as you can see here, even the first job offer is from Clay. We scraped them using Clay, obviously, and then enrich them with job description, salaries, minimum and maximum, because what we got is a company name, job title, location, company domain, job LinkedIn URL, when it was posted on, job ID, and all of the other parts that had to be taken into account. Obviously, what we also did is we semantically corrected and cleaned up all of the different job titles that were related to the GTM engineering, because from what you can see, it's like some of them are senior GTM engineers, staff GTM engineers, etc. So there's a lot of different records happening. The same goes for description. We had to semantically align different phrases for different type of competencies, different type of responsibilities. So we basically cleaned them up. And we prepared this report based on this data, where you can basically dive deep into what these offers mentioned, which tools, because based on that, you would basically need to, acknowledge these tools, know what they are about. Then we have what skills you should have and which were mentioned and how often, which code stuff, which technical / programming was required, which mindset was, the most compelling into the with the companies that proposed these job offers. We also had these responsibilities that are a part of of this, and as you can see, it's a work of automation. If you are a process guy, then it's basically a job for you. And then we have obviously these medians. We split them into the medians like a 25th percentile, 75th percentile, and it's actually quite a good visualization of how this market looks like. Maybe it's not much, it's not that much of the offers, but you can quite clearly see where this market is heading in terms of this revenue and salaries for this job position. We also provide the names of the companies that are showing the most GTM engineers job offers and that they are likely to hire, best paying ones, and obviously some other statistics that could be interesting to you if you are going for this GTM engineer role, or if you are a HR manager that is going to hire GTM engineers. So I feel like this report could come in handy for you. I will be sharing this within our website, within this resources, free materials, vanderbilt.co. Just enter the website, go there, and what you basically go in here, and I feel like it's GTM engineer reports skills. Just go there and you can download it for free. And we also share our sales tools database, and you can access it from here and also from the resources, where we basically, for this agentic era, we created a repository of 1,167 different tools included, where you can look for all of the tools that were mentioned within the report and also the substitutes. Because what is also the problem within the market is that currently different tools are being used within different companies, and we have substitutes for everyone. So the Instantly, Lemlist, Salesforce, Smartlead, they are all doing the same thing. They're activating the data via the outbound. We have the LinkedIn outreach tools, we have the cold email tools, we have data sources, we have LinkedIn analysis tools, we have email finders, phone finders, and these are all of the categories that you can look for from our database, and I hope it's useful for you. So if you would like to talk about it, I'm open. Just leave some comments. You can reach out to me on our website, and I hope it helps you into understanding what this GTM engineering is all about, how to actually position GTM engineer within the organization, and if you are looking for any help into getting into this GTM engineering, let me know, and I will give you some guidance on it. Thanks.